The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda. I'm Terri alongside Jacky Lambert, and we are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Our feel good topic of the day is representing Bermuda on the international stage, and we will be bringing in Danté Leverock of DaRock Elite Performance Training into the studio for that conversation. Our feel good vibe of the day is in honor of our guest. It's entitled That's Quality Kid by Mr. Photogenic. You may kind of already know what that's about, but you may not. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the episode to see that feel good vibe. But before we get into all of that, let's see who is tuned in with us and get us started with our feel good warm up. So I see we have Sean Smith. Good morning to you, Sean Smith. And looks like we have Kivane Haynes. Hey, girl. Hey. And Rashida Godwin, greetings to you and everyone that is watching. Let us know. Oops, we got Sheldon in here. Happy Friday. It is Friday. Jacky Friday. And I are excited because we love all days, right? Every day above ground is a blessing, but Fridays tend to be, they're a little better because, the weekend is here. So you got to early. How? Yeah. Okay, first of all, we're going to start with that. We have a feel good warm up, but we're going to get into, don't worry about that. But let's talk about knocking off early on a Friday. How many of us in the comments, raise your hand if you're knocking off early, or give us a thumbs up if you're knocking off early today, and give us a thumbs down if you're staying till 5 o'clock, the traditional end of the day. Me personally, I will be working until 5. My day ends at 5 today. Jack, how excited are you to knock off at 5, given what we talked about backstage?
I am so excited. Like, honestly, I can't wait.
And let the audience know what we talked about backstage so they know why you're excited to knock off at 1.
What did I talk about?
The kids.
So I have camp and I have a bunch of different siblings, and these kids, if you all know siblings, I spend most of the day saying, stop hitting your brother, leave your sister alone. And I'm just like, I don't know how parents have more than 3 kids. Like, I think 3 is a good one.
You're going to say 1.
No, because at least you have the 2 to entertain each other. Then you have the 3rd one that's like the built-in wrath. Like, hey guys, cut it out. It's usually the older one or the youngest one. The middle one, my sister was always at least in one of them. But I just can't wait to knock off. And it's not even like I'm going to knock off and go have drinks. I'm knocking off to come home, shower, and get in my bed. I am taking a nap, guys. I can't wait for this nap. It's going to be so amazing.
You'll be ready for happy hour, clearly. You'll be ready for happy hour.
Yeah.
If you do wake up in time for happy hour.
I have a birthday party happy hour, so I have to wake up. But luckily, it's right around the corner. So, and Bermuda, like, it's literally probably...
Everything's right around the corner.
It's 7 minutes away from my house. I'm so excited. Like, today is perfect, guys.
Hey. So it looks like Kivane is also knocking off at 5 with me, or doing a full day. And actually, Sheldon Jones says it's a full Friday for him, but he has a full weekend. So that's what he's looking forward to. And that is dope. So if you missed yesterday's episode, we talked about the the Olympic Games. We did kind of, allude to that. And so today the games start. And so we wanted to ask the question, do you think that the Tokyo Olympics should continue as planned? And if you haven't been watching the news, there have been a lot of athletes that have tested positive, and so they're not able to, compete in their particular sport or their particular meet. I don't know all the sports terms, y'all. I'm not an athlete. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, the folks can't participate. And I actually saw a post this morning around the Paralympics where a competitor was unable to have her person, like, which is her mom, like her person, she's deaf and blind, and she's not able to have her mom assist her at the Olympics. She has to use the Olympic provided person who is also supporting 33 other Paralympians. And so she had wrote this post, and I'll share with Jackie so we can share it on the page so that you can kind of get the gist of that. But let us know in the comments if you think the Olympics should go as planned, given everything that's kind of coming to light around, you know, Brenna was never going anywhere. So that's kind of like a non-issue as far as the virus. But do you think the game should continue, Jack?
I mean, as soon as I saw the articles about I think it was cardboard beds or something that they were putting in to avoid the
not cardboard beds.
It was, I'm gonna have to find the article. I was scrolling Twitter and I was just like, woo, gotta come back to that. But then it was one of those moments where it was already starting to reboot and I lost it. And I was just no.
One thing about Twitter, that algorithm and that little feature that they decided to add, take it away. Take it away and give us the edit button.
It's too fast, man. It's too fast. I'm like, but whatever. So they had cardboard beds, not boxes, for them to sleep. And I think it was their rationale was to make sure that the competitors didn't fornicate. So that's one thing. And then you have one of my tennis players, Coco, that tested positive, so she's not competing. And then I just looked at ESPN. I don't know if you guys saw me looking down, but ESPN popped up saying that Naomi Osaka's opening match has now been moved to Sunday versus, I think it was yesterday. Today's Friday. Yesterday. For some, undisclosed reasons. And I'm wondering if those reasons are COVID, because there's been so many cases that now that maybe they're trying to hide the reasoning behind this particular situation. But yeah, it just seems like it's very chaotic. So it's got to be stressful to the players and the competitors. It's like, am I competing today? Am I not competing today? Oh, you're testing me again. Oh, what if I test positive? It's too much. As much as we want to keep tradition, sometimes we might have to push back to a later month or different year. I know it just messes up the cycle, but I'm on both sides.
Because it was supposed to be last year, so we're already off.
So that's what I'm saying. I know, but I'm saying they gave you another year to prep. So I know they're trying to push to get it, but at the same time, you could have given, if it's this much chaos and trouble, then you should have just waited another year.
So I see a comment from Kibani that I'm going to bring in. It's a pretty long one, so hopefully, look, it's good so we can see it. So Kibani Hayes says, just knowing the work that the athletes put in to qualify and knowing that for some it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I say yes, let the games continue if the athletes want to. They may not qualify 4 years from now. It is an at-your-own-risk event, though. And I think that's fair, and that's probably par for the course right now, right? Any event is typically come across as at your own risk. Either way, because the virus is not going anywhere. Any virus, any viral infection is not going anywhere. That's the nature of a virus, right? It may quiet itself down, but it's a virus nonetheless. It's not an infection. Infections, I think you can get rid of. Y'all don't put me in there. I'm not a scientist, nor am I a doctor. So don't be calling a doctor saying that Terry said that.
There's always going to be some risk. There's going to be a risk in every event. If I'm traveling to, say, it could be somewhere as simple as the States and I eat the wrong food and I'm out because now I have food poisoning and I can't compete. So there's always going to be some level of risk. But obviously, most of us have been around dealing with COVID. If you haven't, I don't know where you've been, but take me.
Living under a rock. Living under a rock, not on the rock. And what I find funny because Black Twitter, about Black Twitter, one thing we talked about this yesterday about Bermudians as well. We do like to insert humor into painful or really dark conversations because we just that's how we cope. And Black Twitter came on about Sha'Carri Robinson, about how she was unable to compete in her signature event, which is event. That's the word I was looking for. The 100-meter dash, and they were saying how she got all these other deals outside of not being able to do that one race in the Olympics. And now look, the Olympics is having all these issues. I found that hilarious because I was like, that is kind of how this worked.
And they've been shunning a lot of people. They had the girls that have too much
testosterone,
naturally produce too much testosterone. And then you had the other situation with the hair caps, the bigger ones, the larger ones.
Silly.
It's just a lot. So I'm just like, ooh, karma comes so fast these days.
It sure does. So we are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to get into our feel-good topic of the day, which is representing Bermuda on the international stage. We're going to be bringing in Danté Leverock into the conversation, so you do not want to go anywhere.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert, and we are going to transition into our feel-good topic of the day, which is representing Bermuda on the international stage. We are going to be bringing in Danté Leverock, who I told Jacky this when we first reached out to Danté. I was like, oh my gosh, when we get him on, I'm going to have a fangirl moment, because I follow him on social media, but I never met him in real life. I've only seen him on TV, so I feel like, and I say this a lot often about local celebrities, but I feel like, oh my gosh, it's cool to see someone that you know, or that you don't really know, but you could know because they're from where you're from. So if you guys see me just sitting here on these sides, just like in awe, that's the reason why. Danté, as you may or may not know, is a Bermudian footballer. He has played for our national squad. I don't know the length of time that he's played for the national squad, but it's longer than I have. We're definitely going to ask, and it's longer than I have, because I have never played. So we're going to bring Danté into the conversation right now. Good morning, Danté.
Good morning, lady.
Good morning.
I just had to do that because I just want the audience to know that I have never played for a national squad, specifically the national men's squad. So clearly Danté has one up on me in that regard. So Danté, we want to know, what have you been up to since the Gold Cup, Bermuda's most recent appearance in the Gold Cup?
I mean, it's obviously disappointing with the way that it worked out. It was definitely tough on the boys. You know, I'm pretty confident that we can get a result, but you know, life does go on. So you know, we're all back. I'm back working. Other players are going back to their clubs. You know, in England and the US and stuff like that. But just back on the grind, back to work.
That's awesome.
Now I see you have, it's called DaRock Elite Training Performance. Can you just elaborate more on what exactly it is, where it's based, what do you offer? Just, you know, load us with some information.
Yeah, so when I came back from my recent stint in Pearland, I was playing football in Pearland. And obviously that was during COVID. Like, I came back in March. I had to quarantine up South P and all that. I was on that last flight from England. Luckily, I got out of Pearland. I was stuck in Pearland for a good 4 months, not playing. So that was an experience in itself. So, you know, while I was there, I had plenty of time to think. So I said, you know, I have a degree in sports science. I'm finishing my master's in education now, but, you know, I'm played sports my whole entire life. I love sports. I love the science behind sports. So I said, why not try to start a training company to help, you know, young Bermudians to excel? So basically, I offer football / gym / elite training performance. I train at a beach gym and National Stadium as well. Ages 4 and up. I have some young little kiddies that I work with. They're a handful, but I love them to death. So I enjoy that. But you know, I offer, you know, some expertise of things that I've been through and then things that I've learned while traveling the world playing football. I think most importantly, just being, as you said, you know, a footballer that has played professionally, offering insights for young kids here. I think that, you know, we have, you know, athletes that travel the world and play, but a lot of them don't really come back as often as, you know, obviously they're busy and stuff, but they don't come back. So children can actually touch you and see you and speak to you and ask you questions. So I think that's important for me. I'm also a school teacher now. So with P1s, so I heard Jacky talking about camp, so I understand. But I love my P1s, working with them. But with my training company, you know, we do all the aspects of everything: agility, strength, coordination, balance, all the things that you need as an athlete. And I think it's important for young athletes in Bermuda because we have this sort of mindset that, you know, you can just play football and then go abroad and play. I learned that when I was younger. When I left for high school, I thought I was a big fish in a big pond, but really I was a big fish in a small pond. So I had to learn the hard way of, the things that I was doing at home isn't enough. So now what do I need to do to get to this level and beyond, to have a career? And luckily I was able to do so.
That is great. Actually, not to cut you off, Jack, but I just want to remind the audience that if you have any questions for Danté, make sure you drop them in the comment section. Or if you have any well wishes that you want to give Danté, make sure you drop them in the comments. Go ahead, Jack.
Ooh, back to me. It's my turn.
Yes.
Sorry. This is us. So you said had a career, which means that you are retired. Can you tell us more about your journey as a professional football player, leading up to being a professional football player, and what prompted you to retire?
I'll start what prompted me to retire. COVID. The football world is very different now. You even see now, seasons are starting back for summer. You were just talking about the Olympics. You have positive cases everywhere. But for me, I always wanted to be a footballer. I started at 5, played for Dennytown. Went through the process here, left for school, went to England to play, finished school, end up signing in America, played there for 2 years. Then I then I had a bit of hiatus. My father actually passed away, so that was a difficult process, not having a team and then dealing with that. So that actually helped to propel me in a way, because I had a lot of underlying issues. Us as Black men, we don't like to speak about things, but I end up seeing not necessarily a therapist, but a trusted person with my mother, and that helped to propel me in a way that I can't even explain. So my career kicked off after that. I went to Estonia. I played in Ireland. I played in Poland. I've been all over. I'm a guy that likes to take risks, so I don't mind if you tell me that opportunities here in Asia, I would go at any second. And I don't discriminate against any country. I love to travel, and I met so many wonderful people. I still have friends all over the world. In my 8-year career, it's been awesome. And then playing for the national team has been the biggest honor ever. Playing with the guys that I grew up with. I don't know if people really realize that if you look at that team, a lot of us actually just played with each other from under 5s. So that's why, we're like brothers. Obviously, honestly, on and off the field, we go through difficult times, but it really doesn't faze us, because we've accomplished such great things together. And then you have this young group coming in. So us as the older players have to do our part to make sure they have all the tools that they need to take Bermuda forward. But yeah, I'm home now. I'm teaching. I'm finishing my master's soon, thank God. I'm tired of school. And then I want to be a teacher as well. So I'm in the process of getting my teaching certification. So, I just want to be back and help Bermuda's youth. I think it's important to have males that are here and willing to put in the work, because it's not easy. And put in the work to help our children. That's the most important thing to me.
That's actually great. Actually, so I was backstage listening to you. I have so many other questions from what you just said, but I want to bring in a question from the audience. And so in the Chica Trot, she asks, what did you decide, why did you decide to join the education fraternity? What is your desired level to teach?
I'm going to be completely honest. My mother always just tell me, you're going to be a teacher. I was like, I'm not going to be no teacher. What are you talking about? But children always gravitated toward me, and I guess I always gravitated toward children, and I see a lot of myself in them. So when I came back, to be honest, I had a sports degree, but it's not many options for me to get, a job per se. Yes, I was professional, but that when I tell someone I'm a professional, they be like, oh, okay, that's good. I know I'm seeing you on TV, but what degree do you have? That's the reality. And she's old. My mother, I love her to death. She always pushed me to get an education first. I wouldn't know what I would do if I had played professional now and not had a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But it just sort of worked out in that way that, especially doing my coaching, made me fall in love with football again, even to play. I know you guys may ask me about how I retired and came back to the national team, but coaching sort of filtered my way into teaching, and I love to be around children because children are honest and they, they keep it 100. So, I'd rather be around that any day of the week.
Agreed. And so what level do you want to teach? Like, do you have a specific level? Because I know you said you're teaching P1 right now, but do you desire to like maybe go up to, I guess, a higher primary school level or the high school level, secondary?
I'm not totally sure. A lot of people ask me that question. My principal actually just asked me that the other day. I'm not sure. I'm just feeling my way into it. I want to just hopefully start at primary and then obviously work my way up, but who knows? But I just want to teach. I know that for sure.
That's amazing.
So I do have a question based around your teaching, because it sounds like you're just focusing on P1s, which means I actually would have assumed that you would have jumped into the system as a gym teacher, where you could have taught all levels, helped all levels, been able to have built a bond with all the kids at the school.
Yeah, I mean that is a option for me to be a PE teacher, but it's really not as easy as you think. Especially here in Bermuda, it's tough. We have to go to certain universities to get our teaching certifications. And even though I have a degree, even though I'm doing my degree and my master's in education, I still have to get the teaching cert, and that takes a whole another year for me to even be a certified teacher in the system. So it's sort of a longer process. But I totally understand what you're saying, and that is an option. But also people that I work in education have told me they need more male classroom teachers. So I'm sort of
absolutely.
I'm sort of torn between the two, what I want to do. So I'm trying to figure it out.
And I actually want to talk about one of your P1 students, because I've seen Simon, excuse me. She's like your number one fan. She low-key inspires me to that's why I was like, yeah, I have to talk to this guy, because I'm like Zah. Every time I see him on TV, I'm like, yes, go Danté. So what is it like for you to be, not only teaching the next generation of Bermudians, but possibly inspiring them to possibly want to become a teacher like yourself, or play professionally, or just be a better person? What is that like for you? And how is it when they come up to you and they say, I know you?
Nah, it's really no better feeling, because like I said, children keep it real. They either like you or they don't. You know what I mean? So Zarina is just awesome. Her family is awesome. Her mother and dad are awesome. They do wonderful things in the community as well. But even that, when I did have my decision of retiring, thinking about children like Zarina who look up and say, Mr. Leverock, I see you on TV. How was your trip? And things like that. I could easily be selfish and look for myself and the things that I need, but I will sacrifice myself to inspire, our next generation. So for me, my most important thing, and you can look around Bermuda now and what's going on. I think that more of us need to step up and do our part, and that's what I'm going to do for sure.
That is so dope. I like this guy. I love this guy, man. See, this is why I'm a fan. Go ahead, Jack. You can ask the next question. Go ahead.
Yes, okay.
Cool. I'm gonna just sit over here for a little while.
So you're talking about inspiring the next generation, but who inspired you, and who are some of your favorite football players?
Honestly, a lot of people inspired me. But one of my main ones was my cousin Connor Smith. He played professionally as well. He was in his generation, he was one of the only Bermudan professionals. And his my close cousin. I've been traveled with him. Lived with him. Awesome guy. Good person as well. But local players that have inspired me, it was, like I said, I grew up in at Dennytown, so I had a lot of top footballers in that golden Dennytown era. Like Carla Smith, he played for Dennytown as well. He was one player that I looked up to. Even people my age, Naki, played with Naki, good friend of mine. Seeing the things that he's doing as well. I've had a lot of mentors even now, but those are the two, Connor and Carla Smith. And even John Barry Newsom, I work with him through Life Through Sport charity, offering boys, football opportunities, as well as, focusing on education, how to apply for schools, things like that. Yeah, I've had a lot of people that I've actually looked up to, and it's crazy now that they reach out to me telling me well done, good job, sending their children to me, or I'm working with them now. It's crazy, how my world's just changed. Even you're calling me a local celebrity. I don't think so. I'm just a regular guy. But even to think that people look up to me in that way, I need to definitely do my part and lead by example. So it's responsibility that I like to take.
That's awesome. And so I actually have 2 audience questions coming in for you. The first one is a quick one. And I didn't plan this, but I'm just saying.
I can't wait.
Elizabeth says that Zarina has a question for you, Mr. Leverock. Are you coming to P2? So don't leave her hanging. I know it's summertime right now, but you gotta let her know. Are you going or not?
Zarina, all I can say is that I hope so. I'm in the process of working in that now, and I hope to be in, our Francis Patton P2 class. I hope so, Zarina.
So there you go, Zara. We can't confirm or deny, but we got you an answer. So now we actually have another question from Rosin Famous. She asks, have you considered creating virtual elite training / workout programs for adults?
Yeah, I mean, of course. But I focus on younger athletes now, but a lot of the things that especially my 16 to 18-year-olds do is what elite athletes do, especially in English academies and European academies. So I base my programming around not only the things that I've done, but top class academies, the sports scientists. All I do on YouTube is watch sports performance, sports science, background things. That's all I do. That's how I spend my downtime, even though that's not much. But yeah, for sure, I'm actually in the process of creating an app. So hopefully look out for that soon. It's taking a while to kick off, but hopefully in the next couple months or so that will be able to launch. So look out for that for sure.
I am looking out for that because I currently use the Nike training app, and I would love to support your app because I do work out. I'm not an athlete, but I do like to work out. So I wouldn't mind, I'll beta test. If you need a beta test, I would definitely do that.
So Danté, you brought up the national squad a few times, and I just want to know, how was it being the captain of the national squad, and what challenges did you face? And also, was everybody as accepting of your role as the captain?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, there's no greater honor of leading your nation to war. I say, you're playing against another country, and leading the guys that you grew up with. They look to you. So it is honestly no greater honor. I've always wanted to be the captain. I saw, again, Connor Smith, who I was talking about, someone that I looked up to. He was the captain. And, I remember being in the stands watching him. I said, first of all, as an older cousin, you always want to be better. And I tell my mom, I'm better than him. So, I want to represent the country and lead the country as well. So I got to realize that dream. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, of course, like I said, honestly was so close. Our group chat goes off every day, just talking regular. And then when it's time to link up, it's like we may not see each other for a year or so, but it doesn't matter. Like, we're so close. We're like brothers. So, but being the captain isn't just, leading your team, on the field, but off the field. You have to make sure that everyone has what they need. From boots or to bananas in the locker room to, I need my payroll, this hasn't been paid, I need this, these are the things that, as a captain, you have to sort out between your players and your management. You have to be that little filter in between to make sure that, everyone is happy ultimately so they can have the optimal performance on the pitch. So my phone, when I was captain, is always ringing, Skipper, I need this, or what time is this, what are we wearing here? So I was always a busy guy, but that was part of the job, and I enjoyed it for sure.
That's awesome. So I actually want to go back, Danté, because you did mention that, listen, I could never be a captain of a sport, a team sport. Like, I'm a soloist. I can't. Team sports. I played football like once back in the day in middle school, and we won. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. That's it. I'm a champion, and I'm out. But you mentioned you lost your father, and so you did have to, you didn't speak to a therapist per se, but you did kind of speak to someone about that, that grief. And so we've been talking about mental health a lot on this show, and just we've seen it a lot recently because of the pandemic. So I just want you to talk maybe a little bit more about that experience and like, why was that important for you? Like, was it something that you kind of said that you thought that you needed, or was it like, I know you mentioned your mom went with you, but was it something that she kind of said, okay, let's do this together? Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, so like I said, I lost him in 2017. It was very tough, and I was also going through a transition in my life between teams. So that's like being out of work. Imagine you losing your job and then having to pay things and not having the funds to do so. So I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I was very angry. Us as Bermudians, we like to drink, so that becomes a medication for us, which is not a healthy thing. So doing that, acting out, I have a young nephew as well, having not leading by example for him. So it was a big whole spiel of things that I was on a negative path. And I don't like to speak anyway. I like to internalize things and just do. So with my mother, she was actually going through depression before, and the wonderful day she actually passed away. But so she mentioned, look, just come with me. I said, all right, I guess, so long story short, I ended up speaking to her, and she looked at me. She was actually a handicapped woman, and she spoke to me. She looked at me. She said, God's got a lot of big things planned for you. So I look at her like everyone says that,
right?
And we just end up talking, cried, scream, all those things. And after that, next couple of weeks, I went to her, just even to see her now, because when I like you, I'm like the children, so she, I went, stopped by, and we just having conversations. And then an opportunity came about, or let me go back. So during that time, I started to get my life together. I said, well, we made a decision together. She said, what would your father want you to do? Act this way? Or when was he most happy? He was most happy when I was playing football. He loved to come watch me play. He would work. From when I went to West Pembroke, he would be working at Corporation Hamilton. He would drive the truck down, stop by, watch me, and then go back to work. So that little trigger in my mind said, I have to get back to work. Even if it's a slim chance of me getting back to pro, I have to put in the work to make sure if the opportunity arises that I'm ready. So then, long story short, I end up getting an opportunity in the US for a showcase trial. And from there, I went to Estonia, and my career kicked off. So speaking to her really saved my life, if I'm honest, for sure.
Thank you for sharing that, because I know you mentioned Black men and Black Bermudian men don't talk about that often. So I hope that by you sharing that, more guys will open themselves up to that conversation. They don't have to put it out publicly, obviously, but just seeing yourself as an example, like you said. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I'll tell you this at that time. I'm saying, I'm gonna keep saying it. You are definitely doing amazing. I'm a super fan now. I'm a super fan. So we have another question here from Rosalind Fayman. She says, what are some of the things that young people find frustrating? And I'm assuming this is related to the whole training and possibly trying to go pro, etc.
I think is a couple things. Opportunities. Look where we're situated in Bermuda. We're not really close to anything. I can't just bring a scout down from here to there to her. We're not easily accessible. In Europe, you have, even when I was in Estonia, I would say, we say Bermudians have natural talent. I don't necessarily believe in talent, but we do have something special. Especially with 65,000 people, and the fact that we even have 6 or 7 professionals in football is, that's a very good ratio. But I think lack of opportunities, and also, a lot of people don't like to listen to children. We just like to tell them what to do. But for me, being in the situation, I like to ask them, well, what do you feel that you need to improve on? How was your day? You're looking sluggish today. What happened? Easy type of things that, there are children at the end of the day. They're going to be leading us one day. So we need to hear of them. But in terms of sports, I think lack of opportunities and lack of, elite training. You only have a couple people in Ireland that are really capable of, telling a child or giving a child guidance of, what it takes to be elite. But that number is growing with the young guys. that are now playing professional. We have people that are now studying sports science more and more. So hopefully, in the next 10, 15 years, we'll see a big difference. But I think the two major, the lack of opportunities, and I'm trying to bridge that gap. I had agents that I work with. I never had someone to tell me how to deal with age. I could tell you some horror stories that I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But, I can pass that on to the young people of dealing with that, and also give them that proper guidance they need, whether it's for school or whether they want to play professionally, whatever it may be. I can give that insight into that. And then again, listening to our children. So parents, listen to your children. They may tell you something that you didn't even know that was bothering them.
Absolutely. And so we have one final question before we wrap up with you, Danté. Sean Smith wants to know, do you talk to parents about the financial undertaking to become a professional player? And can you kind of share what that's like?
Yeah, I mean, my children always ask me how much I made or how much I make. But it's not always glitters and gold. It depends what level you play. But even then, it's like a regular job. You need to invest your money in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, if I told you my first amount of my contract, you'd be like, wow, you play for that. But I had to take that opportunity to then open the doors for my next ones. And then I was compensated after that, obviously. And realizing my dream of waking up and playing football, and that's it. I mean, I have to do another job. That was my job. But actually, I'm partnering with Alert Sports about having a little get together for parents to talk about life as a professional, life as an athlete. Me and Dale Weaver are looking to do that, because obviously Dale played at a high level as well, and he's out there chasing his dream to try to get back to that level. So I haven't done it per se yet. I have some young children that have just gone to England for school and have some professional opportunities. So I'm always talking to them, talking to the parents, whatever they need, I'm here. But that is important, especially to be an athlete. You have Terri. You look at Nakia. He's one of the top Bermudian players. He makes a good living. But the other ones that are playing lower, if you really knew, then you'd be like, wow, maybe these guys do need support in different areas. But that's a different conversation for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We will definitely have you back. So Danté, as we wrap up, can you let the audience know how they can contact you if they maybe want to sign their kid up for your performance training, or if they want to, if they're at Francis Patton and they're trying to get you to come into P2, I don't know how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, you can reach me at DaRock Elite Performance at gmail.com, or go to DaRockElitePerformance.com and hit us up on our message board there, and it'll come straight to the email. But I appreciate you ladies for having me, and I'll definitely start to tune in to Good Day Bermuda. Thank you.
Thank you as well. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with Good Day Bermuda.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. If you enjoyed that interview with Danté Leverock, make sure you give us a care reaction, or any reaction if you're watching on Facebook. That's Jacky and I's favorite, the care reaction, but y'all might have your favorites. Use your favorite to let us know if you enjoyed the episode. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. And to all our tweets over there on Twitter, make sure you run up those hearts. We're going to get into our feel good vibe of the day, but Jack, I do want to get your opinion on, or your thoughts on, our conversation with Danté. What did you think?
It was fun. I mean, sorry, I have to sneeze, guys.
Bless you.
It's usually hot. It's usually hot in here, and it's an open meter house, so it's drafty right now. And I'm like, the one day I don't wear all these clothes. Sorry,
the wind wants to come through. So we have a comment here from Rosa Fame. She says, great interview. And Laverne Tucker said that she loved that interview as well. Thank you both for your kind words. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on our interview with Danté. We're going to get into our feel good vibe of the day, which if you tuned in at the beginning of the show, you do know it's by none other than Mr. Photogenic. But we wanted to feature this particular video since we had Danté on, and we wanted to flash back to the match where Bermuda played against Barbados, and Danté actually got a goal. So we want to know if you can figure out which goal was Danté's. So we're gonna play it for you right now.
Time, boys, let's get it. Let's get it.
Friendly against Guyana.
Bowl. Show me something. Coming in hot. Quality, kid. Quality.
What you mean, man?
What? Offside? That defense is just too slow. The ref saved it.
Put this one in the back of the net, Carlos.
Coming in hot. Outside the box. Ball. Get that in. Yee! How you like that 3-piece special? That's a nice header, Kazi.
That was
Hey,
Danté,
that's
if
four.
you didn't know.
Give me a little bit more. Yeah, Kazi. Get there. Woo! 5? Is this team even alive? Coming in hot. No way, Kitty. Not an OG. You're going to be walking back to the hotel. Woo! She's ripping up the defense like tissue paper. I can't tell if this is real life or PS5 because the difficulty level is set to high. When knockers come knocking, you better open up.
We hope that today's Field Goal Vibe of the Day has you ready to have a great one. I know Jackie and I are definitely ready to have a good one after that. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. We trust that we will see you next week for more Field Goal conversations. It is going to be a short week for us because, in case you didn't know, if you're living on a rock or you're not living on the rock, not on the rock, it's the Bermudian Christmas, aka Cup Match. So we'll see you same time, same place next week. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.